Okay, so if you listened to my rant earlier, the reason I posted this is because you have to hear our story. Okay, now for somebody that's never gone to church or done any of those things, this would maybe corroborate your story why so many people left the church and won't go back. Okay, so it goes back maybe 30, 40 years ago when a lot of priests were raping children. Okay, now here in this area, a lot of people that came forward, they wanted to prosecute certain bishops, certain deacons, certain priests. Okay, so on that note, these cases were investigated. A lot of them never went anywhere. So we're going to go on and tell you the other stories, the individual cases. Individual case where a man, he prayed right before he raped the girl. I was there firsthand. I know exactly what this case was. It was in the north side of Pittsburgh. Okay. Now, for the average Christian that wants to go to church and cares about their faith, they need to know what's going on in your church. If they use and abuse and rape women or domestic violence cases where they hide out in the church, why wouldn't you want to know that? Well, it's because you have known about it. They have reported it, okay? A lot of times what I've encountered is there's a lot of reasonable people who will listen directly or indirectly. Unfortunately, I can't report on what's going on currently because I don't know those cases. But my problem is, and it'll always be a problem, is when somebody rapes somebody using the Bible to do it. That should be a problem for the church. That should be a problem for every person that cares about the church. You don't knowingly allow somebody you know has had a history of domestic violence, raping a woman or abusing somebody this way, okay? Knowingly. If a church was notified and the pastors and the preachers or teachers or anybody was notified and they still allow it, then to me, there's a problem there, okay? This is not to demonize a good, decent Christian who's trying to do the right thing. They know what's going on. They know that there's a lot of sneaky crap going on inside the church. And I want to corroborate it with this. When the church doesn't show up at an abortion rally, they're really not a church. When they start justifying sin and they start to justify the marriage laws, and listen, we could be here arguing all day. Now, I don't know where these people are at. Okay, these cases happened years ago. But I'm sitting there listening to this guy pull out the Bible and preach to me how Trump is a bad dude. I'm going to tell you firsthand, I know for a fact President Trump, while he may have been, maybe he became a new Christian, but I'm not going to sit there and argue with this phony who's going to use the Bible to misinterpret it, okay? They're using the Bible to discredit so many people, okay? That's not what the use of the Bible is for. It's not meant to condemn people, but I'm going to tell you that the days of condemning people and the days of arguing with people, I mean, really, it's just going to go live. It's going to keep becoming a war. It's a spiritual war for a reason. The Lord said that revenge is His. He will avenge this, okay? It's not up to us to figure it out, but it is up to us to warn somebody or people that are going to churches like here in the Cranberry area. If you notify a church and a pastor and a preacher, and we've gone through a couple pastors and preachers in Cranberry Township here in this region, and they're going to still go along and enable somebody that's abusing a woman or abusing anyone's children, we need to call it out, okay? I don't know why they wouldn't call it out. Why would you want a man or a woman who's abusing their children or somebody in their home knowingly? Unless they sat down and had a talk with that person, they shouldn't be in that church, or at least warn somebody. That was a mistake we made years ago. We didn't warn anybody, okay? And I had friends came up to me and asked me, why didn't we say anything? Well, we were young. We didn't know really what was going on. We blamed ourselves, number one. And we blamed ourselves because we didn't really understand what was going on. So I'm not going to argue that there are people that knowingly or unknowingly or naively go into this thinking that, no, this person wouldn't do that. But that's part of the whole thing, is that it's easy to sit there and blame yourself or be in denial about it because you don't want to believe something like that. The problem is, even if we report it and we can back up the facts and the church can still go along with it. I mean, I can't debate with a pastor and preacher. I was talking to another pastor and preacher and they hung up the phone on us. Okay? When they start harboring a man that rapes and abuses either his wife or children, or a woman abuses her husband, it's a different story. Okay, we're not going to those churches for a reason, but we got to warn some of you guys, if you're going to go to these churches, you need to pay attention. Okay, just because you're going to church doesn't mean everybody in that church is there for the same reasons you're in. I mean, that's the devil's favorite place, is it, between the church pews. Okay, we saw evidence of that everywhere. Okay, you have to pay attention. You got to be street smart to know that not everybody that goes in that church has the same intentions as you. And I have to tell you, as corrupt as things are, it starts at the church, and they say judgment begins at the church. And if these people go around and attack people this way and use the Bible, I mean, unfortunately, it happened to me firsthand. I watch a man rape a girl and use the Bible doing it. That's how demonic that is. Okay, and they twist the lie. The thing is, to me, you know, people have got the Bible all completely wrong, and they'll blame Jesus for this. You know what? That's what's been going on for 2,000 years. Jesus never, ever, ever would condone somebody to rape or abuse somebody using his word to do it. Do you realize how outrageous that is? Think about that. Think about how outrageous it is when a man or a woman is raping somebody and abusing them and using them. That's outrageous. And no one should ever be in this dark place blaming themselves because they were abused by somebody in the church. No one. It's outrageous. When I witnessed what happened, I was in uniform. I served for my country. I watch how twisted these liars are. They'll use anything if it means making them look good. It's never about looking good. You need to know the truth, though. You can't go out around there and not use some street smarts. You got street cred, okay? If you know that somebody's doing that, call them out. Don't go around waiting for them to attack somebody else. Don't go around waiting for them to abuse somebody else. The problem is that there's a lot of people that are going to be very confused by this. It's not a message to be confused. Jesus never would go along with somebody abusing a woman or a man or children and using the Bible to do it. I recommend you really pay attention. Wise up. Just because somebody says they go to church does not mean codify them as a Christian, okay? You'll know them by their fruit. That is what the Lord has shown us. He has shown us every time. When somebody becomes a Christian, they're supposed to be changed by that. They're not supposed to be abusing people. They're not supposed to be throwing people out on the highway or